And we're live. Guys, welcome back to another episode of The Couch Show. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Sibling Rivalry. I am Lynn.
I'm Ray. Welcome back.
I
don't see it. Hold up. All right. So let's check audio. Audio check.
I can hear the echo, so I could definitely hear the audio is good.
I want to hear how you sound. You gotta talk.
I can hear the echo, so
you sound good. You sound good. All right. All right. So let me turn it down. Let's leave it on there. It's cool. It has our names, Lynn, Ray. It's actually closed up. I like this new layout. Look, I liked it before and I like it now. So I'm easy to please. That's how I am. It's actually dope. I like it because it's like more zoomed in. Before it was like Zoom. It's funny because Zoom, that's the name of it, but it's like they don't zoom. It's like they're like way out. You get the whole room.
It's definitely like widescreen.
Yeah, exactly.
That wide.
Or this is a little more focused. Yeah. No, this is nice. I like it. I like it a lot.
Today's episode brought to you by Kodak Cakes. You know,
muffin top
or milk. I used milk. Throw it in the microwave for 60 seconds, and boom, you got a meal in the bowl.
Muffin top. Isn't that what happens when you wear tight jeans? Muffin top. So I guess you're feeling better, Lynn.
You know what's funny?
You actually got dressed today.
I woke up this morning and I just felt really I don't know, just like I felt off. So I did like that test where you like test your elasticity of your skin. And I was like, oh shit, I'm dehydrated.
Wait.
So I've been drinking water all morning and my skin elasticity is back to normal now.
Hold on, you gotta explain the test. Huh?
So you pinch your skin, like you pinch like the folds right here.
Okay.
And it's supposed to bounce instantly back. It's supposed to just go right back. But if there's a delay, it means that you're a little dehydrated.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Your skin's elasticity is like a direct correlation with how much water you actually have like available for your body.
I feel like you're just making all this up to see if I'll do this.
No, not at all. No,
just to see if I'll do this.
One of my babies, my daughter, actually, when she was young, she was dehydrated. I went to like her PCP. She was like dealing with like an illness. And we went for like the follow-up and they did the test and they were like, oh no, I'm sending her like straight to the hospital. Like we're admitting her. She's dehydrated. It was like a whole big thing. And that's when I learned that's how you test it. That's like the fastest way to test your hydration level.
Oh, okay.
No.
If you say so. Hey, look, you learn something new every day.
So that is true. Well, this is pretty good. It's a chocolate chip muffin. It's a little on the dry side. But
how's anything? First off, does anything with chocolate chip ever taste bad? But yeah, it's gonna be good. Yes. You got chocolate in it.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's not.
No, that's the best. How do you say that tastes bad? No. So the kids, like me and the kids, we love the like Shamrock shakes, but it's like it only comes around around St. Patty's Day, right? And it's only there for like a month. So over the summer, we found an ice cream spot that they do milkshakes, right? So we did a mint chocolate chip milkshake. It tastes just like a Shamrock shake. We were like, oh, Shamrock shake is in the summer. Like, this is awesome.
Cool. All right.
So how you hating on mint chocolate chip? So good.
Man. I feel like the ice cream is fine by itself if it was just like a mint flavored ice cream, but the chocolate chips, I'm not about it.
Hey, what up, Fuzz?
Fuzz, welcome to the new layout.
Oh, so Fuzz, with this new layout, we're on StreamYard. So we could drop the link in chat and you could join in and chat with us if you want to chat with us. Same thing with Trist. Like I kind of want to do that. I want to, let's have this conversation. Let's talk about things.
You know what? I'm just gonna drop the link now.
Yeah, drop the link in, and if anybody wants to jump in, that is the best ice cream. Mint chocolate chip. I agree. Mint chocolate chip, the best.
I don't know.
Yes. I agree.
Fuzz, I think we'd have a great conversation. It would be a great, however long you stayed on. Even if you just jumped on for 2 minutes to say hello.
Yeah, just give us time to test it, and then
it'd be awesome.
We'll go back and we'll do our thing.
Then you and Ray can go back and forth about some movie that's like coming out, It'll be great.
Actually, you say that jokingly, but I have 2 movies lined up today. I'm finally gonna go see, the new Nick Cage movie. What was it? Something Massive Talent. I don't know. These names, man, they're too damn long. Massive Talent and the new Firestarter that's coming out. So yeah, I got my movies lined up.
Yeah, I haven't heard of either of those. I do know Nick Cage though. There's not many actors whose names I know. That's someone I know. I can even name a movie. Face Off. Boom.
Okay, name another one. You're on the roll. Here we go.
That's it.
The Rock. Come on, name another one. Come on. Oh, movie Kung Fu. Let's go. Movie Cheerio. Let's go.
I can't think of any movies that The Rock's in. Like, I can think of like.
No, that's the name of the movie. No. You totally missed that one. That went over your head. The name of the movie is The Rock.
Oh,
and it starred Nick Cage.
Wasn't he in Swordfish?
No, that was what's his name? Wolverine.
Oh. Yeah, you see, that was the extent of my knowledge. I felt so like proud in that moment.
I should bring up Hold up. I'm gonna bring IMDb. Let's go. I'm bringing up IMDb right here. And this is so dope because I could just do everything on my iPad right here. So I'm bringing it up. Let's go. Nick Cage.
Oh, so Fuzz says the new Firestarter is doing a day-and-day movie release?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I thought you would know. I thought you were like an AMC master class leader type.
It was funny too because they were like, "Do you own AMC stocks? We'll give you better benefits on your stock." I was like, "Sure, I own whatever you want me to own." I was like, "Sure, give me everything." So you said Face Off, right? Come on, name another Nicolas Cage movie. One more, just one more.
Nicolas Cage movie.
Did you know he was in The Croods?
I did not know that. Who was he?
Him and Ryan Reynolds. I believe he's the dad, and Ryan Reynolds is the other kid. Not his daughter though. The other kid, the one that they found along the way.
Okay. So the day-and-day movie release thing, you can see it in theaters and at home.
Oh.
It's like it releases everywhere.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a cool
an interesting concept. Yeah.
That is an interesting concept. It's funny though because like the time between like movie release and like video on demand is really shortening. It's like really shortening. And I think that was due to HBO last year because HBO, with the pandemic and everything, HBO was like, yo, we're going to have our movies and the day that they're releasing the movie theaters, they're also on HBO on demand.
You see, it made sense strategically because of COVID.
Right.
But what about now? Like, is that hurting their box office sales?
Yeah, but they don't care about that. It's all about the streaming wars right now. Like, look, Netflix took a big hit because of all the competitions they have. People are dropping ship, actually. Now, like, Netflix was the big behemoth, right? And everyone's like, oh, Netflix can never die. They're winning.
Netflix came in and completely blew Redbox out of the water. Like, when Netflix
Not even Redbox, Blockbuster. You got to start the whole Blockbuster war because I was around for that one. I was like, yo, Blockbuster, all right, cool. And then Yeah, Blockbuster just was a ghost town and died. I was like, oh shit, Blockbuster's dead. Yeah, I remember when like a Blockbuster first came around our area. We were
Mhm.
like, oh my god, it's a Blockbuster. Because before that, it was like the mom and pop video stores, right?
Right.
And then Blockbuster came in. They had everything. They had movies, games. I was like, oh shoot, this is
Was our
cool.
first Blockbuster the one? I think it was in Middletown. It was like
Mhm.
a really big.
Yeah, the
It
one
was
that's the
huge. It
tire
was
shop
huge.
right now. Yeah, it's a tire shop now. Like the building is still there.
Oh,
Like
really?
they actually built that building for a Blockbuster at the time. And now
Huh.
the building is like I don't know, Mavis or something.
Hmm.
It's still in that shopping
Okay, so
area.
you know
The
what?
building's still
It's
there.
not the one I'm thinking of then, because the one I'm thinking of is like a farmer's market now.
Farmers market.
Yeah.
The hell you thinking about?
It turned into like a farmer's market. I have a
Farmers
feeling that's
market.
where you get like fresh
Farmers
produce
market
there.
is like
It's like
anywhere there's
close
like an
to
open
Aldi's.
parking lot.
No, it's close to Aldi's. Like it's a thing. It's a thing. I don't know. They just transform buildings into anything they need, basically.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy because there was a Kmart by me. Remember the Kmart that was over here by me
Yeah,
in
isn't it like
PA? Yeah,
ShopRite
you remember
now?
that. It is a ShopRite right now, but they took only half the building for the ShopRite. So I'm like, yo, what do they do with the other side? So it looks like they're redoing the whole building,
Mm-hmm.
and it has like red color. So we're like, could this be a Target? Are they gonna build a Target over here?
Oh, shit. It would make sense. I mean, you have a Walmart.
Yeah, right. Bring in a Target.
Mm-hmm.
Target's too foo-foo. They all about the demographic has to be right for Target.
I was just thinking about that because like for New York State, when we went from plastic bags to like reusable bags,
Mm-hmm.
like Target stepped up because they know like they have a different clientele. Target decided like, hey, we're gonna provide bags for free.
For real,
We're gonna give you 5 cents off if you bring your own bag. Like that, it was great.
But that's how foo-foo Target is. Like Target is actually giving you the reusable bag. They're like, oh yeah, take it, it's free. We got it like that. Yeah. Whereas everybody else is charging you. Everybody else is charging you. Like,
you want a paper bag? 5 cents. What?
this costs money. This is part of the inventory. You got to pay this.
Oh man,
like, oh,
I'm waiting for the day. I'm waiting for the day where I get in trouble when I go to the store and like I use their paper bags, and then when it asks you how many you use, I go 0.
I do that all the time. I'm not honest. I told you I got loose morals. I just go, motherfucking shut. Give me some of these bags.
I feel like if I spend over a certain amount of money, I'm entitled to a bag. But that's just a sense of
yeah. If I spend $1 in your store, I'm getting a bag.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not paying for your damn bags. That is the hill I will die on. I am not paying for bags. Oh, that's hilarious. So let's go to the news real quick for today. Everybody, I hope you're not checking your portfolios. Don't look at it. Just enjoy the day, because there's blood on the streets everywhere. Yeah, everybody's getting massacred.
The market is tanking.
Crypto is
I can't even say it's tanking. The market tanked, like past tense. It's
now it's just murdering everybody. It's just funny how whoever's left, anybody who was like, I'm not selling. That's what they're doing. They're just cleaning house right now. And I don't know if you heard with crypto, but there was one Luna. It was like some I don't want to call it was like an exit strategy because I don't think the guy who created it intended that, but some like big people manipulated the market, and like that's what's completely taking it down. And the crazy thing about it was valued at $60 billion, the coin. Mm-hmm. And now it's just tanking. They are linking this to the equivalent of what happened with Enron like back in the day. Mm-hmm. Where Enron just imploded. I don't even know what Enron is. What is that? Look it up. But it's just it's those things. It's like you see these things and you're like, man, like, and then people are buying it because it was like, I think the token was like at $100 and then it dropped down, it kept dropping. Like if you look at the chart, it's like, woo, like it fell off a cliff. Now the coin's worth like
All of them are, because everybody's been like kind of like heading downward, and then
Yeah,
it just
down the
drops.
stairs. Yeah, then it's,
Ah!
but this one's like it's even worse because it went from, I don't know, I think it went from like $10 to like 3 cents. Like you could literally buy it for like 3 or 5 cents right now. And people are buying it. People are like, oh my god, it was 100 at one point. If it goes to $10, we'll make a shit ton of money. I'm like, I'm not touching that shit. You out of your mind. Then they're worried. They're worried
And you
that
know what? There are coins that are worth less than 1 cent.
mm-hmm.
You know, like
oh yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of coins are at like
or like zero
four
zero zero zero
zeros
zero. Yeah,
and then
something.
some
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah, yeah.
I
But
feel
now
like
they're worried
those
that
are like the old school like penny stocks. That's kind of like where I have my money. I'm just hoping like, hey, if any of these hit $1, like Lynn's gonna be made.
yeah. I mean, if you guys could survive what's going on right now, because I've seen it, I saw it back in 2008, the crash back then, every so often, even with crypto, I got into crypto in 2017, right? I ran it up and then it crashed in 2018. And so, if you, like, you always had the right mindset. You were like, look, you're only going to put money that you already lost. Like, to you, it's already money gone.
Yep.
So it's like you buy it, you don't even think about it, and then you'll come check 5 years from now, and boom, you're made. Mm-hmm. That's how crypto is, But you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with the projects you picked out. I always say that you gotta be careful. Like after 2017, 2018, I just started most of my portfolio was in coins that were established. Mm-hmm. Let's just say that, and then maybe 10-20% would be on those new ones, right? Those new ones that everybody's hyping up. Okay, let me get those. But for the most part, you got to be safe. You got to be safe out here. It's all right.
Coin that hasn't even it's in its pre-launch phase. Okay.
Oh shit. Okay. You never know though. But those will be those will be the ones that you can take off. But you got to wait. Like you got to do your time. You got to do your time. Like you did the crime. I'm like, what crime did I do? I just bought this. That's all I did. Why are you penalizing me?
Yeah.
But yeah. No.
It's definitely heartbreaking, I want to say, to see the numbers fluctuate the way they do.
Yeah, but see, we're heavily in crypto. But
it's up there. That's oh.
Yeah. But we're heavily in crypto, but then you go over to the stock market side, and I was watching this morning because what the stock market is doing, it's also affecting crypto. So I'm like, well, let's see how the stocks are doing. Is there any rebound in the stock side? No, everything's down. And then Apple, which is the safe haven, that's down this morning. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh my goodness, everything's taken. The only thing that was up was GameStop and Etsy. Random. GameStop and Etsy. I'm like, all right, end times. People are like, oh, I think Etsy will do good today. Because it was up, and I think it triggered because if something's running real crazy, they'll stop trading it. They're like, what the hell is going on? So it triggered a stop. GameStop too, it triggered, and I was like, what the hell? It's hilarious. It's just, I don't know. Markets are so random. It's like, what? So Tesla's dropping, right? Amazon's dropping, Apple's dropping. I'm naming all the big names here. And you got Etsy.
Etsy. Well, you know what? Don't sleep on Etsy though. Etsy is a huge marketplace, and especially for artists, people who create things. It's booming.
I thought you were gonna say Etsy is a huge store of value because that's what it is right now. It's like, let's just buy Etsy. We'll be fine. We'll be okay. Oh man.
Yeah, I used to sleep on Etsy because I felt like they were just a knockoff version of eBay. But they're really not, they stand behind creators, and you can find anything on Etsy now.
I like Etsy because it helps creative people find a storefront. Mm-hmm. You know how back in the day, if you were a creative person and you wanted to actually get a store in town or something, that startup cost, and then just you be under. A lot of those stores, one of those niche stores, they open up and you see them and they're gone in 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Etsy kind of opens that and it's global for those kind of people, which is great because I've seen stuff where people will do stuff where it's woodcrafting, right? And the guys just make it customized chairs. And they put them on Etsy and he's making a killing. He's making a living because he doesn't have that middle cost which is, that storefront rent, all that other crap that you got to deal with, right? He just puts it right out there, and he finds his voice, his community.
Yeah,
because he's
and that's another
advertising
thing. There's
directly
a
to his people.
community of people who go to Etsy searching for that handmade craft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I looked at Etsy for a couple of things. I was like cosplaying. I think Etsy was like a great place for like cosplaying and stuff like that. Anything that's niche. So like I was on there for like Star Wars stuff. I was on there for like video game stuff. It's like anything that you're like a fan of, you go on there, boom, they got all that stuff there. It's great. I like it. Not that I'm gonna go buy the stock. I mean, it's already up 20%. That's crazy. They're chasing it. Wait for a pullback.
So we're 20 minutes in. We haven't even like touched on our topic for the day.
I know, we're just ranting today.
Let's get over there. Today's show is about flow state.
Flow state.
Yeah, so I guess, all right, I'll lead it off. So we hear people say all the time, like, oh, I was really in the flow. I was just kind of like, pumping things out, bam, bam, bam. Or, there are people and they're just like, oh, the opposite end of that. Like, oh, I just wasn't in the flow today. I couldn't get my head in the game. I couldn't, produce. So, as I started like looking into like, hey, how we're going to like develop today's show, like what the topic, how we were going to, show our topic, I started thinking about like what is flow state, and I feel like your flow state.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, we should come to a middle, like at least like a baseline as far as what is the definition of flow state.
All right.
To me, flow state was always when you're like in that moment where like your brain, like you're on autopilot. That if I can explain what people know what cruise control, autopilot, right? You just said it, boom, and you kind of go. So go ahead.
There's no resistance. You're at a point where you don't feel forced. It kind of just naturally it's coming out. Things are coming together. You're either in your creative element, or you're super focused. You're just getting things done, and there's no resistance.
Okay.
I'm thinking about like, how do we get into flow state? And one of the things I was thinking is that we keep ourselves out of flow state by overthinking. Our ego gets in the way, and we start questioning things, and we
fear, doubt.
Fear, doubt,
uncertainty, fear, uncertainty,
rather
doubt.
than staying in that state of just trusting the process, and just doing what it is that's popping up. Right.
And it's funny that you said that, because so let me backstep a little bit. So after Tuesday's show, we were like, all right, what's going to be the next topic for the next show, right? And we started, discussing. We were like, oh, let's talk about flow state. And it's funny because we both said, well, I don't really know what we're going to talk about. So I was like, all right, just Google it, read some stuff, and then we'll bring that to the table, and then we'll go from there, right? So after that, here goes, life. And I feel like everything right now that happens in my life, it's like the universe is trying to tell me something. So we talked about that on Tuesday, right? Here comes Wednesday, and I'm looking at my portfolio, and I'm like, I got to stop the bleeding. I got to figure something out. So, I'm getting nervous, right? Because I'm falling below the threshold where I'm like, shit, I might have to go back to work. Hey, the retirement's over. I got to go to work. And so I'm sitting here yesterday, and I'm dusting off my resume, looking at my resume and everything. And, I'm trying to get myself into that state of flow so I could just apply for jobs. And I'm like, this is not my calling. This is not my calling. This is not what I want to do. I'm like dreading it. I have a sense of dread of doing it. And I think what drives flow state, at least for me, and this is just going through my experience, it's the why of it. Like when you're passionate about what you're doing, that's when you get into that flow more easier. And so I'm looking, I'm analyzing it. I'm saying, look, this is not for me. I got to find something else. Right? I got to find something else. So later that night, I was like, well, what is your calling? What is your calling? So you like trading, right? You like trading. Let's start getting more into that. Let's feed that. You've been talking about this for the longest time. And the only reason why you held yourself back is because of that fear. However, you do have that drive for it. So you just got to start training yourself to get into that state of flow, right? So that when I wake up every morning, it's just boom, 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 boom. I'm doing it, and I'm not second guessing myself anymore. So
Right.
that's what I'm taking from it. So I'm like, all right, cool.
I think of like flow state. I think of like a rushing river, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you're in your little canoe on the river, and they say like, oh, like are you, are you, what are you doing in the canoe?
Are you rowing? Are you contributing?
Rowing. Are you rowing, against the river?
Uh-huh.
Are you rowing with the river? Or are you just letting go of your oars and trusting the river? And I think there are different ways to get to the same destination, in that if you're somebody who's like so worried about like, oh my God, I can't see what's coming around the bend, I have to be able to like move my boat this way, I have to, you're trying to be in control, you're not allowing that flow state, because life is going to have ups and downs. It's going to, regardless. And you have to get into a mindset where life is happening for you, not to you. Everybody goes to, oh, why is this happening to me? No, why is this happening for me? What door is opening?
What opportunities, right?
Because of what I'm facing right now.
Right, and that's what I'm looking at. It's like, look, I told myself, look, first off, I talk to myself all the time. Like, I think I'm people look at me sometimes and I'm like, I'm a weirdo because I talk to myself. I analyze things. I have a conversation with myself, and I'll even have a debate with myself, because that's just me just internalizing what's going on. I think that's healthy. And if people don't do that, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. It's like, how are you not going to trust yourself if you don't really actually have a conversation with yourself, right? Like, you don't get mad at yourself. You don't get happy with yourself. Like, you gotta do those kind of things sometimes. So, with everything that's going on right now, I'm like, look, right, honestly, you had 6 months, you took some time off, you enjoyed it, but this is all happening for a reason. It's pushing you up against the wall so you can figure out what your next move is going to be. Where I could be the victim and be like, oh my God, oh, why? No, I'm like, look, I got to stay 2 steps ahead. I got to figure out what my next step is going to be. And now I got to get out of my own way, right, in here, so I can start saying, all right, what's next and how do we do it? And then I started laying in the foundation, and then work on that day-to-day process where I could just be, like you said, in autopilot. But I think what you're also talking about too is what's muscle memory, right? It's like when you do something over and over again, it becomes a habit. So now you could just turn that off and you could just get into that flow. Like, a lot of athletes, they do that, right? They're like, oh my God, I had my best game because I got out of my head and I was just, trusting my instinct. Right? My body knew what to do. And so I think that's what you're meaning as far as, talking about the river and everything, is that whole muscle memory. It's like sometimes you just got to trust your instinct, trust your gut.
Yeah. And think about like so much that our body does that we have no control over. Like, we don't control our digestion. We don't control like our breathing. We don't control like healing of a cut, a bruise. That's all done by our bodies innately. It's what our bodies are capable of doing. And in our lives, we have to trust that we know what we're doing.
Right. But in the same sense, when you think about, like, let's say when somebody's having a panic attack or you're feeling anxiety coming on, what's the one thing they say? They say breathe, right? Focus on your breathing, relax, right? So now you're doing something like you do automatic, but now you're focusing on it, right? You're putting that energy on it. And now it's changing your state of mind. So it's like, yes, you could trust the flow of things. Oh, okay, here we go. Buzz said, Malcolm Gladwell said it takes 10,000 hours, 10,000 hours of practice to get into flow state. I agree. Because those 10,000 hours, what you're building is what I'm referencing. It's that muscle memory.
Right.
So, for example, so I made a great fortune in crypto, but that was long term. Like, I would buy things cheap, and when it would go up, that's what I would sell. Most of the time, I didn't sell. Why? Because I always thought it was going to keep going up. That was my internal greed. Now, when it came to day trading, my fear was I'm going to always lose it. Right? But how do you build that? You build that foundation by doing those trades day in and day out, day in and day out. And you take the emotion out of it, right? And then it becomes just numbers. You're just looking at it. All right, I know the pattern. And I'm going to keep doing it. I never got myself to that level. Why? Because I didn't put the time in. Just like Fuzz said, I didn't put the time in. I didn't put the time in for me to learn to just turn this off and let my body do everything else.
I saw like a meme. I don't even know where, but I saw a meme, and it was about day trading. It was like an experienced day trader. All right, no. A new day trader, they celebrate when they win 5,000. They feel a loss when they've lost 5,000. Right. An experienced day trader doesn't celebrate their $5,000 win.
Right.
And they don't feel that $5,000 loss.
No.
Because they know it's just
they stick to the formula. Yeah. And they're like, all right, either way, at the end of the day, no, not even at the end of the day, at the end of the year, I just got to be higher in one end than the other end, right? And I was watching a trader this morning because I'm going back and forth to just trying to get a gauge of what the whole market is doing. And one guy, he was like, "Look, I'm a little disappointed. I'm beating up on myself because this year I'm not doing as good as I did last year." But then he was like, "I got to stop doing that because all I'm doing is I'm getting in my head."
Yes.
Which it happens all the time with athletes. When athletes they get into a slump, they get into their head, right? And what happens? Or even when they start,
they continue to lose and not perform.
Right, or even the worst is when they start getting out of their slump, right? Then what happened? They choke. It's like, oh my God, it's the most biggest choke ever, right? Because they're too much in here. They're not trusting, the muscle memory. They're not trusting their instinct. They're not trusting the fact that they know what they got to do, and just get into that flow. This is good. I like this conversation because it's like it's funny too because it's like I said, like on Tuesday we really didn't know what we were going to talk about, and then here we go, like 2 days later, and then I'm like, yo, epiphany. Now it's just like,
so funny,
I hold myself accountable.
You're usually the one with all like the similes and everything, but like I have another one for you. So
okay.
I was thinking of like somebody who's on like like those skateboards that you lay down on. And you're like zooming down the road, and like
that was it tobogganing or whatever. Like they do. It's like an Olympic sport. Well, toboggan is like the snow thing where it's like the right or. Yeah, remember the Jamaican bobsled team? I'm just thinking about that the movie Cool Runs. Those go back to a movie.
Or like even like surfing, like where you're trying to navigate what's coming at you and your body is like contorting into these different positions to keep you balanced, to keep you on your path. Like I feel like that's a state of flow right there.
Yes.
And like your body, again, like your body already knows how to react to certain things. And it's our mind, it's our ego that second guesses that. And then next thing you know, we're falling off the surfboard,
It's funny too that you mentioned surfboard because me and my kids, we have this running joke because we saw it. I don't know if it was like a movie or a meme or whatever, but there was like the surfer voice. And the guy was like, yo, man, how do you ride a wave? You take it bit by bit by bit until you're on the top and you just ride it. So when he said that, I was like, that's what I was thinking. It's like, literally, that's, it's hilarious. But, yeah, it's just with anything. Like, you gotta put the time in. You gotta put the time in.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, like, what the next stage of like my growth is going to be. I am a little like hesitant right now, like, oh my God, am I gonna have to go back into the workforce? But like what it's doing to me right now, it's kind of putting that battery in my back to actually like get organized and decide like, hey, what is my next step? What am I gonna do?
Yes. And I'm shaking my head because we're siblings. We're cut from the same DNA. It's like we're both procrastinators. We're both procrastinators. We've been blessed, but we don't utilize our blessings to the most to the max capacity, right? We're procrastinators. We'll chill, and that's why I'm like I gotta hold myself accountable because I know like if I go and I buy something right now and the market turns, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm good. great again. Everything's back up. I'm great. I don't need to do shit. I don't need to work. Because it's like that level of work. It's like, I don't want to put in the work. But it's like, look, at this point, I do have to put in the work. Because one, I don't want to go back to where I came from, right? I don't want to look back. That's behind me. I don't want to do that. If I think to me, that would be the biggest failure. That would be even bigger failure if you know, like right now, I don't see my losses in crypto as a failure. That's a learning lesson, right? Mm-hmm. That's motivation. What would be a failure for me is if I went back to what I left.
Right.
I feel like now I'm regressing. I'm not growing. Get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like I gotta hold myself accountable. I got enough funds to do this, and it's like I'm pushed up against the wall. Maybe that's what I needed. Maybe I thrive when there's a little stress. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Work well under pressure.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that's the only time I work because there's no pressure. I'm just chilling. I'm like, you can catch me on the beach.
Yeah, having like that cushion that I knew in the back of my mind, like, oh, it'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it gonna be fine?
It's like, is it gonna be fine? No, now it's time to start making moves. And you know what? It's good because now I'm, for whatever it is, I'm educating myself at this point. I'm going out there, I'm doing the work, and hopefully we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Ask me 6 months from now.
I was like, if I never have to work again, and this is something I said when I was younger, if I never had to work again, I would just want to like continue to educate myself. I would always want to keep learning.
Right. So like things happen, instead of me saying, "Oh, why be victim mentality? Oh my God, why did this happen? Why is it?" I'm asking, why did this happen? With a stern voice, like, why did this happen? And then I'll go online and I'll start researching, and I'm just curious, and it's just interesting. Like, oh my God, like a lot of these exit, like these rug pulls and exit strategies, I'm amazed by that because I'm like, how could people get away with this? And you know what? People have been getting away with this since the day, dawning of man. Like you're like, oh my God, crypto's so volatile. People are getting rug pulled. Bro, that's the stock market. Like I can name you a couple of companies that they had to. Oh, you never heard of Bernie Madoff?
I did hear of him actually.
Rug pulls all the time, man. Like rugs are getting pulled all the time. These guys are just getting away with this shit, and it's crazy to me. Because some people do get caught, some people do, they gotta pay, they did the crime, they pay the time, right? They get caught, they get locked up. Most of the time, Bernie got locked up, but most of the time, these guys get away with it.
Yeah.
Like look at the housing market, 2008 market crash, right? Nobody got arrested from that. They got bailed. All these big companies got bailed out. Some companies went belly up, some got absorbed, but they're still doing it. They're still doing it to this day. Everything that happened, I think maybe one law changed. There was like one bill passed, but nobody got arrested. And here we are again. Now, the housing market is the only market that's really surviving right now. You see like Tesla stock is finally going down.
Because people don't know where they can put their money that'll be like safe right now. So they're safe.
Right.
Let me get some like physical property.
Really, that's what I keep asking myself. I'm like, look, if inflation is going up, right? And it's like, all right, so cost of living is your expenses are going up. None of the assets are going up. Like gold and silver is going down. Stock market is going down. I'm like, where do I put this money at? I don't know. Put it in me. I was like, shit, I'm going to invest in me. And that's something, I think that's another thing I was saying earlier is like, I never learned how to be liquid.
Right.
I knew I should be liquid. I knew, and I always said that. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to cash out now because if I lose this, I didn't know how to make it. So now it's like, all right, learn how to make it.
Yeah.
Learn how to make it so that it's on you. So in any kind of market, you can thrive. So that's what I want to do.
Have that, that talent that we can, easily pick up new concepts and we can learn and, self-teach
which is lazy as.
It actually came into handy yesterday, and I was talking so much caca. Now looking back, I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have. But so I went to a yoga class yesterday, and at the end of the yoga class, I kind of stuck around. I was talking to the owners, and they started telling me about the issues they're having with their website. And we're going back and forth, and I'm asking questions, and what they were telling me just wasn't making sense. So I was like, look, can you pull it up? Can you like pull out a laptop? Can you pull up like what the issue is? So they did. And I sat there, and it took me maybe 10 minutes, and I figured out what it was. You know, like they couldn't get their website live, and I did it like that, 10 minutes.
Nice.
And ultimately,
but you won't use that. You won't use that. You won't market that.
That's the thing. I have like these skills. I have mad skills. What am I doing? Like, and that's the issue. So I kind of like that. You know, the market is crashing, and it's kind of like pushing me to develop further.
Figure shit out. Yeah.
Yeah.
To stop relying on other people to make you money. Start relying on you to make money.
Right.
Now, me personally, I don't want a boss. You know, I don't want a storefront. I don't want any of that stuff. I just want to go in and make my money. Just that's why I'm drawn to trading. It's just me, myself, and I. I go in, boom. That's it. Yeah. And then that's it. Get in, get out, and go on with your life. I could do it anywhere. It's like that's my calling. So I'm going to, you know, like last night I couldn't sleep, of course. You know, the markets were just crashing. And it's crazy because Bitcoin crashes at night. I'm like, come on, I want to sleep, my guy. Look, enough with this shit. I don't care how low you go at this point. I'm going to just get some sleep. So, you know, last night I was just up and I was just researching. So, you know, I'm trying to find like a good trading group where they can give good trading strategies. Somebody who's, another thing too is like, I need a mentor. I've always said it. People need mentors. Whatever you're trying to get into, you need a mentor. And even if you like, I'm a firm believer that like men need men mentors, right? Just to understand how to be masculine, how to be a man, right? And women need women mentors. I believe you're in some women's group, right? And I'm in some men's group. And that goes with anything. Anything that you do in life, you need somebody to kind of guide you. Yes. So I'm looking for that group where, you know, it's going to cost me some money, of course. Everything, you know, nothing in life is free. But I'm looking for that group.
It'll be an investment. You know, it'll be something that
it really is.
To give itself back to you. You know, you're putting a monetary number on the value that you're going to receive through the knowledge, through the wisdom that you're getting.
Right. And that's one thing people always said is like, look, always invest in yourself. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do that because, like I said, I don't want to go back. I really don't. I have enough operating costs, and hopefully I'm like, look, let me get started. Let me start doing this today. I'm pushed up against the wall, and that's the only way I'll take action. But hopefully the outcome is, you know, it's going to be rough, you know, and then hopefully I can then get to that point where, you know, I can wake up in the mornings. That's like really my ideal dream right now.
Your flow state.
Right, exactly. I could just wake up in the mornings and just do what I got to do, and that's it. Like, I don't want to be filthy rich. I mean, if that comes, cool, whatever. Who doesn't want more money, right? But I just want to be able to maintain what I got because I love what I got. I don't really need more. I love what I got. I just want to maintain that. That's it.
Yes. And that was the key for me to, you know, to gain my freedom, to be able to retire when I did, was I looked at what I had and I decided that this was enough. This was enough. I don't want to compete anymore. I don't want a bigger house. I don't want, well, I do want a new car, but I lease, so that's different. Like I don't have to have like the most expensive car, like you're not gonna see me driving a Tahoe for what reason, like who am I trying to impress? I want for me and my children to have the basic necessities and be comfortable. Mm-hmm. That's it, because time is precious. You can't get time back.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. 100. So with that said, what's your purpose? What are you gonna put your focus in so that you could develop that?
So I'm looking back through some older journals where I started my ideas and then kind of just fell off. And I'm realizing that, there is a pattern and everything is pointing towards me having an online presence. Mm-hmm. And it's all pointing towards, I want to be like a positive role model for young women. Mm. So I don't know where it's going, but that's the core.
So with that said, why don't you create your own page? Mm-hmm. Create a web page. You already know how to do it.
Right.
We know that, so you can't use that. You're like, oh, all right. Look, universe works in mysterious ways. You put it out there, talking about this story about how you help somebody's website, right? You knew how to do that. So why don't you create your page, aggregate all of your social media on there, right? Because you have multiple platforms that are
Right.
kind of some are active, some are dead, but let's all aggregate them, and then let's work on that.
Yeah.
So right now, you know, the crisis. I tell you all the time, the crisis with women is that they're following this feminist narrative that is not necessarily true. And I think that if you came with that direction to help women and be like, look, stop all that victim mentality, stop all that feminist trash, and let's work on being, feminine as a woman, right? And let's tap into what makes women great as, the opposite of masculinity, right? Femininity. I think you might have a few followers. Start posting on YouTube videos, just your thoughts on your channel, your thoughts on some of the topics going on and how you see things differently.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see like where we both are 6 months from now.
I know. And the good thing about this channel is like look, like this channel, we're putting it out there. We're on YouTube, we're saying it, so it's like, oh my god, we gotta hold ourselves accountable now. Yep. But it's like we have no choice to though. It's like, look, we have no choice. It's like right now we're at that make it or break it. It's like we're right here. It's like if we fall any further, we're done. And
Funny, I was with Ma
yesterday. We gotta go up.
And she's all like, I told her, I was like, man, like if the market keeps crashing, like I'm gonna have to get a job. And it came up like, oh, working at McDonald's. And she's like, oh no, I didn't think you could do better than McDonald's. And then we walked into a diner for lunch and she's like, oh look, they're hiring here. I was like, wait. I was like, that's so the diner is better than McDonald's, but can we aim a little bit higher, please?
Fuzz, like, I am writing down. I'm writing down the Black Swan trading because I'm gonna forget that. But I think we're at that point where it's a black swan. But you know what though? We were at this point. If you look at all the numbers, we were at that point like 2 years ago, right? The 2020 crash, COVID crash. That's where we are. So all we did was we erased the profits from the last 2 years. And I feel like it's like cycle, everything. And then that's why I keep telling you, like, it has to go like this. So a lot of things went up like this, and now it's going like this. That's how it is. The roller coaster. You don't just want consistent. That's a bubble. Right. So hopefully, we can pull things together over here. I think everything's going to be fine. I think at this point, it's just a pressure against you because you know how much you're willing to lose where you're like, oh, shoot, I'm done. I blew up my account.
Right.
And I pretty much stopped it at that point. I was like, well, let me stop it here because I gotta eat.
Even with all the loss that I'm taking, I still haven't hit my, hey, that's what I initially put in. Like,
oh, no, I didn't hit that. No, I didn't hit that. I took profits. I didn't hit that. I took profits. So I'm about 4 times what I initially put in.
All right. It's nice.
But I was like 40 times. I was like 40 times up what I initially put in, right? So that's where that hurts. And it was like, and a lot of people told me, and you know what? Human emotions, greed. Mm-hmm. It was like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what it's called. I'm telling you, everything led up to this moment. I think it was a moment where it was like, you're not going to change your life unless you're pushed up against this. And I think that's what it is. It's like, now it's time for me to survive.
Yeah.
I'm ready to survive. I was having
a conversation about greed with a friend. And, we were talking about selling the tickets for like the Chris Rock and
yeah.
So we were thinking about selling tickets, and they decided to post them online just to see if somebody buys it. Cool. If not, whatever. We'll go. We'll have a great time at the show.
Right.
So they had it like a really high rate, and I was like, oh, why don't you drop it down to like, I don't know, $1,000? And they were like, well, why would I drop it that low if I have the opportunity to make more? And I was like, well, that's your greed.
Ooh, that's the
I was like,
greed.
because if
Yep.
you drop it to $1,000, you're still doubling what you initially made, like what you
Yep.
initially spent. So
Yep.
you have to find that middle ground where it's like, hey, I am making a profit. This is, a good thing versus, ooh, I want more.
Yes. Yes. And that's where that is right now. I have that, and look, I'm human. I got that emotion. The fact that I can admit that, all right, greed kicks in. Instead of going from here and just shooting all the way up here, right? And then being greedy up there, and then it goes right back down.
Right.
Why not learn the way to do this, right? And get yourself up there.
Yeah.
And then that way you made it little by little, you're liquid, and you're like, oh, okay, I have all my profits here. Okay, let's just, let's keep going. It's you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself.
Yeah.
And the way I break that greed is by learning how to take profits, little by little, just being a machine. Because I'm still human. I'm still human when it comes to my trading. And I get that. I acknowledge that. But you know what? It's also not only, it's two things. It's greed and it's also fear. Fear that I don't trust myself because I don't know the process, or I understand the process. I just haven't put myself, time tested to trust the process.
Right.
So that's what it is. So once I kill that fear and kill that greed, that's where I can start getting to that flow. It hurts though. It hurts. I tell you what, if I ever tell the numbers, Lynn knows the numbers because I show her everything. But if I ever told you guys the numbers, you'd be like, why the hell are we listening to this guy? Why are we?
That's what they're gonna do. They're be like, right,
listening to this guy.
Like throwing, right back at you.
But
be
you know
happy,
what?
Ray.
Yeah, be happy. No, I'm happy. Listen, I'm happy. I'm scarefully happy. I'll admit that. I'm a bit terrified over here on this side, but I'm still happy. Like I was saying, look, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have this opportunity. Like the biggest thing for me, and like the biggest thing in my whole life was the fact that I was able to walk away from my job. Like I took those shackles off. And I don't want to put those shackles back on, because if I put those shackles back on, that would be by choice. I don't want to do that. I don't. Because you think about it, like you put those shackles get put on you as soon as you get turned 18, right? You got to figure out how to survive.
Oh, you have to,
if you figure out a way to.
How do you do that? You have to have an income, and
Right. But if you could figure out how to take those shackles off, you got to maintain that.
Yeah.
You got to maintain that, because if you put that back on. The hardest
parts about being an entrepreneur is, you are paving your own path.
Yes.
Every step of the way, you're one who's calling the shots, making decisions, and it's something that we should already be doing, but we're not taught to think that way. So once you become an entrepreneur and once you take that plunge, that's when you're like, crap, I'm in the deep end and it's sink or swim. Like you have to figure it out. You have to navigate it.
Right. But don't get me wrong. I got to eat. So if I have to put the shackles back on, I'll put it back on. But I know I'm not going to put it on for too long. Because I'll be like, all right, I got to figure something else out because I want that good life again. I want to get back there.
Yeah, I'd love to be like a millionaire, a billionaire. It'd be amazing. But ultimately, I'm happy with just having what I need and having the freedom. Because freedom's amazing, man. Freedom's amazing. You can choose what you're gonna do with your time.
Even if you choose not to do anything, because I'll be honest, I was just like, I don't know where I want to go. I was like, I'm not trying to spend any kind of money, right? So I was just like, I'm maintaining. But the fact that I could do that, and each day I wake up and I'm like, I'm okay. I don't know. I love that. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to being like, look, for example, remember how on Tuesday we were talking about, I was like, yeah, I might go see this concert. I asked my buddy, he was like, yo, I work. I can't just go to a concert. I was like, so take a sick day. I can't do that. I can't. I'm my boss. It's like, you're so worried about work, but it's like, once again, we say over and over, you're just a number to them.
You are. And
you're so,
life is short.
Yeah.
Life is short. Why not enjoy a concert? You know, like, oh man, I think that's why, you know, we ended up creating this channel, because we have that taste of freedom, and we have that taste of the happiness that it brings, and like the contentness
We just,
that it
but listen,
we want to spread it. We want everybody to feel this way.
Look, this channel could go away soon if we can't maintain it. So we gotta figure shit out. Mm-hmm. We gotta figure this shit out.
We have to figure out exactly what it is, what our message is that we're trying to share.
I think we'll get there. I think we're living it. Like you said, like I was like, look, we need to start adopting growth. But then you were like, well, but you know what? We've been talking. We've been going through the ironing out the kinks of doing, you know, a live YouTube show. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, when we know, like, hey, I ran out of something to talk about. There's dead air. Like before, it would make us uncomfortable. Now it's like, okay, take the pause and then pivot. It's like we've been growing, even though the channel hasn't been growing, right?
Right.
So it's like, I feel like we're on the right path. We just gotta, you know, just like with anything, we just gotta figure out all the kinks. Mm-hmm. Now comes advertising. Now comes, you know, chopping up the content, editing. Like I don't know how to edit, but we got to do that. We got to do that. We really believe in this channel, and we're putting the time. Most importantly, not even believe in the channel. We are devoting time, which we've always said. Time is like your most sacred, you know, scarce, you know, commodity, right? Mm-hmm. You can never get that back. And a lot of people trade time for paper money.
Right.
Like you gotta trade time for, you know, if you're gonna trade time, make sure you're getting something out of it. So we've been trading time. We have episodes on here. What is episode? What number is this? I'm curious. Let me see.
Knowledge. There's so many other things you can trade your time for.
Episode
that you can invest your time in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like if we're putting our time into this.
Oh God, don't binge watch. That's a waste of time.
For real. But then you know what? But here's the thing, though. Like, I'm telling you, I needed this kick in my ass. Because I'm already like, yo, I'm done binge watching music shows. No, we're turning all this off. We got to be focused. We got to focus, Ray. Nope. So it's like, yo, focus. So I'm just waiting for the 15th. So I can just go ahead and buy into this group. And I like my budget. I got to wait till the 15th. But, yeah, I got a plan. I just got to execute it. So you're gonna create your website or what?
That's what it looks like. You know what? This morning I was looking at my domains, and I still own like my domain, pollen.com. And I went on there, and it's like active, but not attached to any services. I was like, I'm slacking. Let me get this up here. I mean, and even yesterday when I was, you know, I helped them out their website. It was on a hosting like company that I've never even heard of, you know, like I've never interacted with them, but it's all the same shit. So I looked for, you know, I found my way through their little navigational system to be able to fix the error that they were receiving.
You know, what's funny too, is like, I honestly truly do believe, like, if you put your focus into it, I could see yourself getting picked up and really going. Like if you started engaging more on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And once again, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Twitter's so toxic, but Twitter is the how do I say it? It's a town square. It's a digital town square. Everybody goes on there, and that's where people talk, right? There may be a lot of tit for tat, a lot of arguing and all that, but that's where people draw traction, right? Mm-hmm. I think for you, like you've even sent me a few of her clips, like a Candace Owens, right? Mm-hmm. Like she's out here, she's doing it big. She's making money and she's controversial, but what is she doing? She's going against the narrative.
Right.
She's being that person to go against the narrative. Now, I'm not saying you need to mirror her. I'm just saying, like, it worked. It worked for her. Like, you could be out here, you could be the same thing, tell me the same message, or you could go against it. Mm-hmm. But go against it in your way, in your style. Like, would you feel comfortable with it? You know? Don't ever sell yourself out for anything else. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is a market to be controversial, if that makes sense, right? And I can see that in you. I see that in you with certain topics. Like you, though you play into some of the narratives sometimes, you do have logic in you. Mm-hmm. Like you do think logical sometimes. And you're like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Like, wait, why is it like that? No. And so then go on that, speak on that. but I think there's something there. It's something there. You just gotta do it. You just gotta make it work. You gotta take that initiative.
I was thinking the other day, so I went to a memorial for
Mm-hmm.
a young woman who, she impacted my life. She impacted so many people's lives. And, as like they were speaking about her and about her life and this celebration, what I noticed is like she did have a short life, but
But she did a lot.
from a young age, like she
She did a lot.
she knew that she could make a change, and that's what she
Mm-hmm.
fiercely pushed for.
Right.
So she lived like this long lifetime in a short span of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking about myself. And I was thinking like, oh, I feel like I'm not really accomplishing anything. And, just that inner voice that's so hard on yourself sometimes, But then
Mm-hmm.
I thought about the fact that I have accomplished a lot. Like for me, like I have had children and I'm raising
Mm-hmm.
children. And that's the season of the life that I'm in. And I don't know what's going to happen when my children are older. Like now that they're getting older and I have more like me time, I'm starting to discover myself. So
Mm-hmm.
even though like I haven't accomplished so much in a little bit of time, like I still have time to accomplish whatever it is that I'm meant to accomplish, like what I'm here for, to find
Mm-hmm.
my purpose.
And but you also gotta understand too, like you got a voice. You have a voice. You just need the right platform to be heard. That's it.
Right. And you know what? I always receive like positive feedback when I start on a new platform. Like each platform I've been on, like on TikTok, I was on TikTok, I have 500 followers and I was only there briefly. And, I was on Rizzle, and on Rizzle, I have like 2,000 followers. And again, I was only there briefly. And, IG, like every platform I go on, I do kind of, pick up that traction, but then I kind of lose focus because I don't really have a purpose yet.
Well, also too, your mindset is what's driving it. Unfortunately, you still see it as a side thing.
Mm-hmm.
You never seen it as a job. And you don't
Right.
want to see it as a job because you take that connotation as a job as a bad thing. Well,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is you got to take it as the effort you would put into a job is what the effort you have to put into it. So that's why I keep telling you, like, find your passion because you got to put in those 8 hours a day. Like, I could sit and watch the market for 8 hours. I've done it. I just haven't taken action.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that that's not going to be a problem for me. What the problem is, with you is like you gotta if you want to grow, social media, you gotta engage for 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta put in that time. Like, are you ready to do that? Is your platform? Are you ready to take it to that next level?
So the one platform that I really gravitate towards is Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
And Pinterest, like it's another search engine, like
Mm-hmm.
it's right behind Google. And because it's all visual, it draws a big crowd. And I can create like a following. I can create a presence on Pinterest. And it's just not something that I've tried. I haven't tried it.
Yeah,
Like
but
Pinterest, I use it for fun. Like I find myself always on Pinterest. I find myself
mm-hmm.
always pinning, repinning, trying things. Like I get inspiration from Pinterest, and I feel like there's an opportunity there that I haven't
Mm-hmm.
tried.
But okay, let me ask you this. What's your voice going to be on Pinterest? Like how are you going to, once again, I said you need your platform so you can be heard. How are you going to be heard through pictures?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to put yourself, face forward. Like, that's why I'm like, Twitter, you could message, you put topics, you could comment, you could find other people, you could, link up, you could even there's like, Twitter has, I forgot what it's called, but it's like where they do like meetups, but it's all audio. So you just go and you're talking with like a group of people, like 100 people, and you're just talking back and forth, and you're just discussing whatever topic you want to discuss, right? But then you could jump on this thing, talk. People are like, oh, I like what she says, and then you got 1 or 2 people following you. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Rizzo. Rizzo was the same thing. Like, you have followers because you were engaging, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would engage, and you would engage back, and you had that conversation. It's like those are the platforms. Like, I think you need to be there. If your calling is really to help women, right? If that's where you feel your passion is like you need to help women, I think you need to get out there and do that. Whereas with Pinterest, which is another thing that you also have, you're very artistic. If you want to tap into that artistic side, then yeah, Pinterest would be great.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to ask yourself, where do you want to drive it?
Yeah.
Where do you want to drive it?
I think I'm drawn to Pinterest because I do like to create. I like to be in like that creative element. And like recently I've been working with paint, and I've been going to this pottery class and creating with clay. And I enjoy the process of creating something with my hands, like actually physically doing something.
So then do that. I mean, there's people, look, there are people who are just killing it, just doing what they love. Like there's one guy who I'm constantly buying stuff from him, Peter McKinnon. He just takes photos. He just takes photos, and then he created this. Look, not only did he like his YouTube channel, his Instagram took off, right? He just takes photos. He reviews phones, cameras, all kinds of stuff, and just shows you how to do lighting and all that stuff, right? Photos. He's a great photographer. But then he went and he created like this secret, which is the one that I got sucked into. He created this like secret like Instagram page, which was like pirate stuff. And like he has a little secret pirate store that has like secret drops, right? So it's like, hey, you really can't go to the store. Like he blasts out like, hey, it's gonna be open this Saturday. And then they'll show you what they got, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. I can get some stickers and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like it's just feeling part of I don't know, same mindset or same group or something. Hey, I like this sea theme. I like pirates, stuff like that. Cool. Other people like that. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So it's like just a lot of people just want to feel part of something.
Yeah.
And so that's it. You just gotta find that, whatever that may be. Drive it home. I think you're still trying to find that though, and I think I'm telling you, like you got to decide. You're running. Time is against you right now, Lynn. You got to just decide what it is you want to do and stick with it, or at least give the time to see if it works out. And if it doesn't, put in the 10,000 hours, and you can't get to flow state, pivot.
Right.
But being indecisive is going to kill you.
That's where I'm stuck at, man.
We're both the same. Look, we're both the same, and I get it. Indecisiveness is not what we need right now. Can't be indecisive right now. We got to figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
All right. So it's been an hour. Do you want to
I was going to say, I'm going to like reintroduce. So anyone who's just tuning in, welcome to the show. Feel free to comment. We love engaging with you, with our audience. The show, the couch show, where Ray and I, we're siblings. We get together, and we're just trying to, be uplifting. We want to inspire you. We want you to, hold on to that positivity, because it is like, it's like a match. You light it, and then that fire just burns.
Yep.
Welcome to the channel, Sibling Rivalry. I'm Lynn.
I'm Ray. Do we want to try to do the StreamYard link? Did you drop it in?
I dropped it in. Yeah. If anybody wants to hop on, say hello, we'll bring you onto the YouTube world.
We could see you behind the scenes and bring you on board. You don't have to show your face. If you don't want to, it gives you the option. You could just talk audio. That's fine too. We'll bring you on board. We'll have a conversation. I think eventually what I would like to do is once the show starts picking up, what we envisioned was maybe have like an advice show. Because, it's hard times right now. A lot of people are going through some stuff, and just hearing people out, talking, having a conversation, it helps. And that's what we wanted to do. We really wanted to put that out there. Yeah. And we were like, oh, maybe.
Like you're a part of a community and that you're heard.
Yes, exactly. And then that way we strengthen you so you can keep going out there and just pumping that positivity. Because it is infectious. I gotta say, it really is. When you see somebody who's happy, who's generally happy, and you're just in a funk, they can brighten up your day. Unless you're like conflicting energy, like you're really, really that negative, and you're just like, oh, no, nothing's gonna change you. But if you're just having that bad day and you find somebody who's just positive, they could lift you up, give you that motivation that you need.
It's definitely contagious.
Yeah, especially with my last 2 years. You know what? I say
everything's contagious the last 2 years.
I was like, look, the last 2 years weren't so bad until like this last few months. Like, geez, come on, man. But it
it's
is
kind of
what
like
it
the
is.
tail of it, because it felt like we were coming out of it, we were going back to a sense of like normalcy, whatever that, means for you. And then it just kind of took a turn for the worse.
Yeah, so now we
Like,
gotta
I'm
see,
so
like, where
done.
does it go? Is it gonna get worse? Is
Yeah.
it gonna get worse before it gets better?
Mhm.
Which is fine.
I do
We
know,
gotta
I do
weather the
know
storm.
that like now that we're kind of like past the whole Kofifi scare, like everything else is popping back up. Like the kids and I just had the flu, and like it's going through our school district. There's like kids out. They like sent home an email. It was like, hey, we have like a high number of like illnesses going around. It's just a reminder to like wash your hands, or remind your children to wash their hands. It's going crazy. The common cold is back.
Is it though? I don't think it is. Because they were just like, oh, you gotta treat Kofifi like the flu. So I was like, wait a minute. Was it just a flu? Did we shut down for 2 years and jacked up the whole economy just for the flu? This is freaking crazy. Oh boy, YouTube's gonna censor us. Fake news, fake news, fake news. Oh, that's hilarious.
I mean, they would have censored us if you went into one of your rants. You
Oh,
just
I
kind of
might.
mentioned it. You
I
mentioned
might.
it.
We still got time. I don't know. I'm not. Look, I wasn't really ranting. I wasn't stating facts. I was just asking questions. I just asked, open-ended questions. That's it. Let's start a discussion. It's hilarious.
So,
I don't
do you have
understand.
plans for the weekend?
Do I have plans for the weekend?
I have a puff
No.
and paint on Friday. I'm going to be puffing and painting. It's going to be great. Back to that, creative flow that I like to be in.
What you need to do is take some shrooms and paint. See what you come up with.
Mm.
Wasn't that like
I'm working
Picasso?
on that too. I'm working on that too. So like at the cafe, they're trying to offer shroom kisses, which are like Hershey kisses, but they're infused with shrooms or something like that. So I told them, I was like, well, keep me in mind when you're ready to do the testing, because I got someone for you.
Well, I did hear that psychedelics are kind of making the path to legalization. So, cannabis was leading that path, and now, psychedelics are right there. I think like maybe 1 or 2 states are like, oh yeah, we'll make it for rec use.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I mean, none of this stuff should have been illegal. I don't know. It's like worse things out there.
Right.
Like meth. Yeah, go after that.
Well,
Oh,
meth
geez.
is illegal.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, you got shrooms and meth. Come on.
Pick your battles.
Yeah, pick your battles. Exactly. Come on. And then you got people locked up in prison, serving, harsh times for cannabis. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. That's crazy. I don't know. But but then I get it, because there's some people on the other spectrum that are like, yo, all drugs should be legal. I'm a grown ass man. I could decide what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it all should be legal. And then what's crazy too is like yeah, but then you also see like you hear stories about like the Biden administration. They're handing out freaking crack pipes. Or you hear stuff like or you hear like in New York City where they got those vans driving around. And you can go get high. You could go shoot up in the van, and there's like a registered nurse to make sure you don't freaking OD.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so then why? It's like I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore, because it's like, do we have a war on drugs anymore? Because I feel like you're trying to facilitate this now.
Right.
And then of course
let's see where we go.
Yeah. And then of course in the middle of all of this is pharmaceuticals. People ODing on just pills that they could get prescribed to them.
Yeah, it's actually it's becoming an issue again in our area. That's another email we had recently.
I mean, it's always been an issue.
In our local high school, 3 kids, passed out all on the same day. They were like, sharing something, and now they have like this whole big, not orientation, but they're doing like a series of workshops, in our schools. And it's starting to trickle down to our middle school too. So there's definitely, like a red flag. I don't like that. Something that I'm looking into.
Well, there's like a show there's a show on Hulu. I can't remember the name. It just passes me right now, but
Mm-hmm.
it talks about how like I don't know if it was Oxy or one of the painkiller meds, which was just legalized opium on the market. They knew it was addicting. They knew people were getting addicted to it, and the
Yeah.
pharmaceutical company just covered it up, and they just kept prescribing it. Now look at it. We have like this crazy opioids epidemic going on, right? Where people
Yeah.
are just getting, what's the new one too? It's like fentanyl, laced with fentanyl that's going out there killing people, and nobody's really talking about it, and it's crazy. And so, like, I hear stories like this.
It's one thing for, an adult to be like, hey, F this. I'm just gonna take a bunch of drugs. But,
Mhm.
there has to be a line where we say like, hey, like this is illegal, because think about the side effects, like the one that had the people like running around eating people's faces off, and they were like, oh, the zombie
Oh,
apocalypse is
what was it
starting.
the bath salts? The bath salts that was
Yeah,
making
like
people do crazy
it
shit.
can't all be legal because it's not hurting just the person who's consuming it. So
Yes,
at what
but
point do we say, hey, like you can't do that because you're affecting the people around you too?
but in the other sense of the argument, you got straight legal drugs, right? Pharmaceutical drugs that are causing addiction and causing problems. People are dying from this shit.
Right.
But because it's from the pharmaceuticals, it's okay. And that's like, to me, that's the whole reason why with the whole Kofifi thing. Like, you hear all these stories about how corrupt the pharmaceutical company is, and yet people are quick to say, "Oh, well, I trust the vax pharmaceuticals. They got my best interest." No, they don't.
Right.
You are a customer, and
Mm-hmm.
they're looking to sell their product. So why would they want you healthy? They want you sick, so they can keep feeding you whatever they want to sell you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why people don't see this. Like, people just are just, you know, this goes back to what we talked about. Like, we need people to start thinking for themselves. Like, I don't know why. At some point, we all just started listening to, you know, just the masses, and we're just following that. And I feel like if we keep going down that path, we're gonna end up like that movie. What is it? Idiocracy, where everybody's just stupid, and
Yeah.
everybody's just like, oh, Mountain Dew, it has acolytes or whatever the freaking thing they kept saying, right? And they were trying to plant and water plants with Gatorade. Like, that's the future that we're gonna have if we don't have free thinkers and we don't embrace free thinkers. I think it goes back to like Twitter, right? I keep saying Twitter because it's like there's a couple people on there that are trying to, wake up the masses, and they're getting censored. And that's why I'm so glad that Elon Musk is buying it, and hopefully he is standing for free speech. I don't know. He is a billionaire. He could just be playing the whole damn thing. He could be acting like he's buying it, shorting the stocks. I don't know. This is what they do. They always look. You got $1 billion. Why do you need more money? I don't get it. I don't get it. That's why I don't want to be like that. I
I
just want to
said
maintain.
Brondo. Yeah,
Yeah,
Brondo is
Bondo.
what it needs.
Yeah, it's what the body needs. It has acolytes or electrolytes. No, it has electrolytes.
Electrolytes.
Yeah, Brondo. It has electrolytes. That's all you need. And like all the
Because we can go into
conglomerates
like
merged.
the conspiracies that like it's by design that we're like this. Like they say like the fluoride that's in our water, it's in our toothpaste, it's everywhere. It's like it's making our brains kind of like numb. And
Hmm.
then, like there's the conspiracy about like the 5Gs and like how like that's
We
making our brains
see,
again like numb. And
and
then
you know
all
what?
you see, no. And then all you see is, on the radio, on TV, like everywhere. It's the same message over and over and over again. If you repeat it enough times, like you did this experiment with Ma, if you repeat it enough times, like that's just what your brain is gonna play.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, you don't need any of that. I could debunk the 5G. I could debunk when they were like, "Oh, the vax is tracking me." I could debunk the fluoride, all that stuff that you're like, "Oh my God, it's making me into a zombie." You want to know how you're getting into a zombie? Your phone, the things you watch. You
But
rather watch
your
Netflix.
phone
You
is
rather
what
watch
your
CNN.
phone is the
All this
right
stuff.
now. It started with the radio. It started as, hey, like this was a legit source of information.
Hmm.
And then, it became like, oh, they invented the TV. And now, like, you look at the programming that's on TV, that's on the radio, the same messages that you're hearing over and over and over again. Like, it is about control. It's about the people who are putting out this content and the message that they are that they are feeding to us as, a culture.
Right. And it's funny because each like the way they do it, the way they play these mind games is like they give you a side. And to me, it's like just don't choose any side. Just be like, well, I don't stand on any side. It's like I don't like look, we talk a lot of politics on here. I follow a lot of it, but I don't categorize myself on the left or on the right. I know I would be get labeled as on the right, but I don't know none of their names. I didn't vote for any of them. I'm just like, no. Sometimes our message might align, but sometimes they don't. I don't like some of the extreme stuff they're saying too. It's like I feel like we need to start thinking for ourselves. Like it's crazy how we have a political system here in America. There's only two sides.
Yeah.
And the only time I saw one person who kind of rocked the boat in the middle, like by a third party, he was a third party, rocked the boat. That was Ross Perot, man. That's how long ago that was. That's crazy that we can't just have free thinkers come up and say, "Hey, look, this is the message, and I'm not backed by anybody. But if you rock with this message, you hear me, you agree with me, let's do this."
Mhm.
It's like
But
why?
that's
Like
the
that's
beautiful
how the
thing.
system is
That's the
built.
beautiful thing about where we see ourselves now, where people are creating podcasts and people have these platforms. They have their YouTube channels. They have the opportunity to, put
Yes.
their ideas out there and create a following and find like-minded individuals.
Yes, and honestly, like you're like, oh hey, I'm drawn to Pinterest because that you consume it. That's why I was like, yo, let's do a YouTube thing because I was like, I was really drawn. I'm still to this day. YouTube is the most thing, like the most content I consume.
Hmm.
Right? I'm just always constantly on YouTube, be it for entertainment, education, whatever it may be. I'm on YouTube. That's my platform of choice. That's why I was like, yo, let's go on there. So instead of me absorbing content, I want to create content. I want to get out there. Let's get ourselves out there. So I feel like that's the same thing with you. Like I keep telling you, like I think now's the time for you to get out there and shine because you are a free thinker and we need more people like you. You're not a lemming. I hope you're not. I don't think you're not. Nah, no, because when you do that kind of stuff, I call you out on it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Really think about that one. No, I didn't.
But yeah, no, I still have hope in the human race. I really do. Like you hear these golden ages of like, you know, the industrial revolution when all these great inventions came out, right? It's like for I like if you follow the doom and gloom that the news puts out right now, it's like, all right, we did all of this just so we could self-destruct. Like I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe this is just like stocks, man, right? Where this is our time now, and we got to come back over here. And how do we do that? We do that by being free thinkers again.
And
We
I,
do
and I
that
think that's what
by
I think that's what these platforms are giving us the chance to do.
yes,
I think that
if the
this
platforms allow us,
could be a
though.
turning point in history because up to this point the content that has been created has been heavily influenced by the people in control.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like now it's giving the power back to the people because now anyone can create a YouTube channel. Anyone can create that following,
Yeah, but you
that
got to
idea.
put caveats out there, and that's where the censorship comes in. So it's like if you go against the narrative that's out there, which the narrative to me is like even the narrative doesn't even understand what it wants to say.
Hmm.
Like you could I saw a meme where they Google like can a man get pregnant, right?
Hmm.
And like the definition, like what Google presented, it was different like 3 years in a row. So I'm like, even the narrative doesn't even know how it wants to brainwash you. Is it because you know why? You know why? Because once they say, "Oh, this is what we believe," somebody comes and kills it with logic. So then they got to move the goalposts, and so they kill it with logic. And it's like once again, we need those logical people. We need the free thinkers. So it's like if you feel, which I know you're wakening up, and I love it because we have these conversations, and I keep throwing logic at you, and you're like, oh wait, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think like that because you were you know, regurgitating the mantra that the society has been saying all these years until you finally stop to think about what was it that you were saying.
Hmm.
And we're like, well, yeah, that doesn't make sense. All right, yeah, you're right. You're right. So it's like that's why I keep saying like we got to awaken the masses. We got to start having more free thinkers. Oh, we'll go back to Bondo. It's what the body needs. It has electrolytes. That's a good movie. Have you seen it recently?
No, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Idiocracy. You gotta watch that because that's where society is going. Like I watched that movie and I'm like, no, I don't want it to go there. No. It's like, it's funny because like the movie, like if you watch the movie and it shows you like how everything happened, and like I kind of see that today. It's like, oh, smart people were like, oh, it's a bad time to have a kid. We shouldn't have kids. While dumb people kept having babies, right? They were like, oh, you're a sexist film. Let's keep having babies. And so then all the dumb babies took over the world. It's like,
oh my God.
It's a good movie. You should watch it. It's from the 90s, but it holds up. It's definitely like it aged well.
My balls. Fun. Said, ow, my balls.
I'm gonna let you take over for now.
Say hello. I'm gonna let my cat say hi.
All right, I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick.
He's the one screaming in the background.
Show your kitty.
Yeah, he's the one screaming in the background. He wants attention. I'm actually, so I have a setup. I'm going to be fostering kittens, which is hilarious that, like, I say this now that Ray walked away because, like, he's always like, what? You're turning into a crazy cat lady. And I'm trying not to, but I really am. So I'm going to be fostering kittens. I have their whole setup. I bought, like, a little, like, playpen kind of thing to keep them. The kids are all excited. And it's springtime, so why not? We'll foster some kittens until they find their forever homes, and then I don't have to worry about having 18 cats in my house. It'll satisfy that desire, that need of like, oh my God, these cats are so cute. I am going to write down the movie so that I can remember to watch it. Idiocracy. It's going to go right next to my list from Tuesday, which is Everything, Everywhere, Always, whatever. That's what I wrote. The Northman. I haven't seen The Northman. Have you heard of a brain virus when you have cats? Oh my God. What the hell is this? I have not.
Cats.
All right, so I added Idiocracy to my list.
Okay.
With The Northman and Everything, Everywhere, Always.
I believe that you could catch it free on YouTube. I think I watched it for free the other day on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube has like a lot of those 90s movies like for free on there.
I didn't know that. I was thinking of checking the app, the Showbox, Movie Box.
It's definitely going to be on there. Movie Box? It's definitely going to be on there. I love that app. Oh, man, I love that app.
No way! So, all right, so I was talking about cats because I like have a whole setup so I can foster kittens because it's better to foster.
You're going to be a cat halfway house?
Yes. So
like I thought about... like I thought about being a halfway house for actual kids. Like, yo, okay, I got space here. Let me help people find their footing in life. And like, I was like, yo, that's kind of cool. But you want to be a halfway house for cats? Kittens. She only likes babies. She only like the babies. I like kittens. What about puppies?
No puppies. No dog. I'm not a dog person. You know what?
No?
I'm not a dog person because I haven't had a dog. If I would experience that, it would change my mind. But I don't plan on experiencing that anytime soon.
I hate cats. I'm not a cat person. I'm definitely a dog person. But then again, I'm like, I don't even like pets. I don't want to deal with their poop.
Dogs are annoying. They like lick you. I don't like that. Down.
Some say 79% of people in Brazil are affected with the brain virus.
Oh, all right.
Why do doctors say don't clean cat's litter when you're preggo? Fuzz is like, yo, he might be onto something. You'll get a zombie disease
I
from the
have
cats.
heard of that. You're not supposed to like scoop the cat litter because like the particles that end up in the air like can affect your body and affect like your
Well,
child.
aren't cats like isn't there like high on like amino acids or something like that? Like I know I read that something like their piss or something.
What?
Like,
Are
it's not
amino
good for you.
acids a good thing? Wait a minute. I'm so
No,
confused
it's
right
like
now.
or acidic. It's like really it's not good for you. I'm on with Fuzz on this one.
That what? I can't even like fathom that. Like 80% of Brazil has this from cats? What? No. I need to look this up.
You know what's funny? Yesterday I went for a walk, right? So like I went for a walk to clear my mind, just put in my tune and then go for a walk around the neighborhood. And I noticed like there's a lot of like wild rabbits around.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the first one I saw, I'm like, is that somebody's pet? Like no, but then I swear I saw like 5 of them. They're like as bad as squirrels. I was like, what's going on around here? So, are you looking it up?
Yeah.
You know you can look it up here and pull it on the screen. That's why we're using
That's true.
StreamYard.
You know, I'm just not used to using my laptop like that. Like, if I'm on my laptop, it's because I'm editing something or, you know, like I'm doing this. Like, if I'm looking for something, my search engine, that's my phone. That's just, it's right here. Easily accessible.
It's funny though because like mom for the longest time, being so mom would what generation would you categorize mom? A boomer, right? She's a boomer.
She's a
The
boomer.
boomer
Yeah.
generation, yeah. So as technology was evolving, right, mom was like really adamant that she wouldn't want to be left out of technology. So like I remember back when in the 90s, high school, I would be on a computer and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" And she was like really just curiosity because here's this new tech and she didn't want to be left behind. And so as the tech, as you saw the evolution of the technology, right? There was a point where she was like, "Hey, I want to get a laptop." And I was like, "Mom, why do you want to get a laptop? The technology already evolved. They like leapfrog that. Just get a tablet." And so
Right.
we got her a tablet. And so she's like, "Oh, I like it." And now she doesn't even use the tablet anymore. Like she's just on her phone. Like it even leapfrogged that. Like it's rare when you see somebody with a tablet. It's like, man, you definitely must be productive, right? I don't know for whatever reason. Like I always felt like I needed a tablet just so I could be productive.
Mhm.
Which I'm not. I'll admit it. It's just entertainment. I just watch videos on the damn thing. I'm being look. However, see, I'm being very productive today.
Oh, you're taking notes. That's
I'm
awesome.
taking notes. I'm watching those. I got my little pen. I'm like, oh, let me be productive.
I like your setup there.
Like that.
Yeah, you got the side by side. You got us up there with the stream and then the comments underneath. That's awesome.
That's my iPad. I'm telling you need it. Oh, you have an iPad.
I do.
What are you doing then? Still using your phone.
My go-to is my phone.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's attached to my hip.
Buzz said cat brain viruses for rats. They make rats march toward cats like zombies. Oh. Did you find the virus?
I mean, no, not really. There's like a parasite. I'm reading about a parasite. It's a brain parasite that can affect.
Lynn's like, Lynn doesn't want to believe it because she likes her cats. So she's like, fake news, fake news.
I
fake
do.
News. That's
They
hilarious.
say like it's like it's outdoor cats, which kind of sucks because I have one of those.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Animals carry things. That's why they even say like when you have like a small house mouse, right, just running around, it's like you should be worried about that because they do carry stuff.
Right.
So it's, I mean, what was it? The rats was the reason behind the Black Plague, right? So.
Why do crazy cat owners own 30+ cats?
Let's get into it, Fuzz, because I was asking Lynn because she was about to get there, and I was like, Lynn, are you really going to be that crazy cat lady? Let's get into it, Fuzz.
So
Because
I feel like it happens because you know, you get cats and it's like, oh, what's another cat? And then next thing you know, you have too many cats. That's just oops.
I think you're substituting. I think you're
Oops.
substituting something with those cats. I'm not there yet. I'm like, look, nah, I don't need it. Because everyone's like, but listen, it's not just the cat ladies, because men are like that too. A lot of men are like, oh, why do I need a wife? I could just get me a dog. Well, men are more like with dogs, right? And I see it all the time. Like these dudes, they love their dogs. I'm like, oh my god, they're about to marry their dogs. Their dog goes everywhere. So it's not just the ladies, but you
Oh
know,
my god, I might be infected with the cat parasite, and that's the reason why I want more cats. I'm just like a zombie.
is that how the parasite works?
Cats.
It makes you just get more cats as a zombie parasite?
That's what Fuzz said.
Cat
That's
zombie?
why. Because I have the cat zombie. The cat parasite zombie thing.
No, but for real, let's dive into why didn't you get more? Seriously, like you went from 2, right? But then you had them outside. One never came back. You went down to 1, and then you got 2 more.
I did.
And at one point, you had all 4 of them. And I was like, you have 4 cats? I was like, that's crazy. 1 is too many.
So when I
1 is too many.
When I decided I wanted another kitten, I was going to add a 3rd cat. And it was because my kids were like, oh, well, that one named that one and that one named that one. And I didn't name one. And I was like, all right, we can get a 3rd pet. Whatever. It's not bad. And then when I went to pick up the kitten, it was like, well, I don't want to leave him by himself. Like, he needs a little kitten brother. So I got 2 kittens. It's just, in my mind, it makes sense to get 2 at a time.
So 2 at a time. Mm-hmm. Look, first off, 1 is a commitment. And 1, you're falling into that stereotype. Like you could becoming, you're in your mid-30s. You're about to become that cat lady.
Yes.
Like, do you see yourself? Like, do you see it? I mean, I'm probably, I see it in you. Like when you hit that empty nest and your kids are gone and that house is empty, you see yourself getting more cats?
I may. It just doesn't make sense right now, because right now I don't have an empty nest. You know, like I have children. Why do I need cats?
See, and this is how I know. This is how I know I'm such a loner. It's like I'm like, man, a dog would be nice, because sometimes, you know, it'd be nice to just have like life in this house, because just me by myself, it kind of sucks. And then I'm like, nah, I don't want to deal with it. I'm good.
You know what? Pets are so needy. They want you to get out of bed when they say, like they want you to feed them when they say, like pets are needy.
Especially with a dog. Like, all right, after you train the dog but like a puppy, like you got to wake up in the middle of the night to walk that puppy. All right, you're gonna have a little mess in the morning.
Oh my god!
Like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm good. I'm not that lonely.
We need robo cats and robo spouses. Fuzz said.
Hell yeah, I'm all for it. Look, yo, Fuzz, listen, let's talk about it. I'm all for the robos. I want them all, because I've seen a lot of futuristic movies, you know, a lot of cyberpunk movies where it's like that, and I'm kind of feeling the metaverse. Like put on the goggles and just be virtual pets over there. Yeah, like a virtual, put on the goggles, have Pokemon. That's cool. I'm cool with that.
I have a virtual pet.
Like a Tamagotchi. See, I had one of those. I had the Tamagotchi.
Like that. It's like a Tamagotchi, but it's with like the Oculus. Yeah. It's amazing. He's like a little dinosaur. I like scratch his ear. I with him.
I'm all for that. Or AR, like AR, when AR takes off and you put on the glasses. Because they're talking about, like, they were talking about AR. They wanted AR to be in, like, stadium events. So you remember how we were watching one of the wrestling pay-per-view events, right?
Yes.
And we're like, wait, that's a cool graphics. They're not seeing that at the arena, right? And I was like, no, that's only for the TV. They don't see that. That's the cool graphics. Well, now there's going to be these glasses where you actually going to see that at the events. And so they wanted to make concerts and stuff more immersed. So you wear the glasses and you're like, oh, look at the fireworks going off. Oh, look at that. All some fine stuff, right? So imagine like you got drugs all in you and you're just seeing all the, it's going to make for a hell of stories. But take that to the next step and have those as your pets. So that'd be great. Like I could have the glasses and I could see my digitally doggy and oh, hey buddy. People are looking at me like, what is that guy doing with his hands? But I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Robo dog, no poop.
That's something I can't get behind. Like having a dog and having to like pick up his poo behind your dog. I don't want to do that. Dog owners don't want to do that. Like,
but you still do that with your cat. It's just a centralized location. You still dealing with dog or cat poop.
It is.
I don't want to deal with any of that. I'm all for it. Listen. Robo dogs, robo cats, robo spouses, all of it. Robo kids, like AI, right? That movie AI where they had the little boy that was a robot.
I don't know that movie.
I can get with that. I could be like, oh yeah. It was like
wait, the little boy was a robot?
Yeah, I think it was AI. So like there was like some kind of tragedy where they ended up losing their kid, and then they like got this robot. And yeah, the little boy is a robot. And then at some point, I forgot the movie. It's been a while since I watched it, but at some point, like they got rid of him. They were like, it's so messed up, and it goes to how messed up humans are. So like the manufacturer they were like, look, he's on like pre family mode, so he has like no emotions. If you imprint on him, you do these set of codes, and he's going to develop, the AI will then develop, emotions and affection and like loving you. And so they were like, make sure you're committed before you do all of this. And the parents are like, okay. And then they go and they imprint, right? The robot's like, I love you. And they're like, no, you don't. And they kick them out in the movie. And I'm like, man, humans are messed up.
What the hell?
So there you go. They could have had a chance not to imprint. They went ahead and imprinted on the robot. He's like, I'm learning love. And now it's like, okay, now you're going to learn abandonment because we don't want you no more. You're just an it.
God. That's so human.
It is.
Oh, man.
Have you guys seen After Yang? It's about robot friends. No, I haven't. That's cool. Well, there's an app. There's an app where it's supposed to be an AI, and you're like talking to the AI like it's your friend. And I tried it, and I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. It's something to talk about, somebody talking back to me. But then it was like just waiting on me to like hold up the conversation. I'm like, but you're an AI. Like, do something. Like, don't wait on me. Like, I feel like this is like real friends. Like, no, I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't want to entertain you.
All right, so you're not going to enjoy having a robo dog with your little AI glasses because it's going to be needy.
No, but I think I would because I think I would have everything that I like about a dog, because I do like dogs. Like, I like when they're all like, oh, it's so scruffy, oh, they want to play and all that. I love dogs. I just don't want to maintain a dog. I want the dog to be self-sufficient. And that's the robo dog.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. So Fuzz said, imagine the machine that can copy your YouTube personalities. Could Lynn live forever?
Well, that was...
Actually, we are going to live forever as long as the cloud remains.
Yeah.
That's it. We've put our essence out there.
But you know what's crazy? At some point, they're going to take what they... So there's going to be an algorithm, right? That's going to watch all our videos, right? We're going to be long gone. We're going to be long dead, right? And so there's going to be an algorithm that's going to study us, right? An AI that's going to study us. And then they're going to recreate some Frankenstein virtual version of us that's not even going to know like how we tick. Like, because you got to understand, like, what we present to you here on YouTube is not full. You're not taking full context of Ray, right? You might be getting 70% of me, but there's 30% that you don't know about me. That 30% is going to be missing. That's not really going to be me. But that's what they're going to like recreate. There's like... like this weird mesh of just these videos. But they're talking about that though. They're like, there's shows. I know Black Mirror on Netflix. I know Upload on Amazon. So there's these shows that are talking about like can we truly upload our consciousness into a computer and
Mm-hmm.
live on forever in the cloud? And then Elon Musk is working on Neuralink, where he's trying to like connect all our brains and connect our brains to the machine.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff scares me though, because then it's like, is that really you thinking whatever you're thinking? How do you know you're not, being like reprogrammed?
Oh shit. I mean, that's you know what, and that's where like the sci-fi like movies start coming in, because it's like, well, what if? What
Yeah.
happens when the AI does become like smart enough that's like, oh wait, humans are dumb. I need to be in control.
Hmm. Or what if you go and you connect yourself right to this Neuralink, and now what you think you're seeing is not really what's happening, and then you get to like all this like weird psychosis things. Like you see somebody here and you're talking to them, thinking that they're really there, and you're like, hold up, you were never real. I hate those kind of movies. Those movies mess the shit out of my mind. It's like those movies where you see them talking to somebody, and then all of a
And
sudden
it's
the
like that
plot
person was
twist is
not
that that
there.
person was never there, and it was all
Yeah.
in their head. I'm like, yo, that terrifies me. I'm like, yo, could that really be happening to me? Like here, I'm thinking I got kids, and I really don't. I'm like, you see them right before Lynn, right? You see my kids, right, Lynn? Right, right.
Listen, imagine being a book in seconds with Neuralink, which sounds cool, but like I see problems there.
So to me, what I see,
Like for me personally, when I consume information, like I only keep maybe like 2% of it. So I feel like
mm-hmm.
my brain might overload. It might be like too much information, too much data, and I'm just gonna like become a mushroom.
Right. That's why, like, when they show teaching, like, they show you, like, look, you gotta, like, say it, and you gotta kind of, like, present it, and then
Mm-hmm.
show a video. Like, you need multiple forms of, the concept so you can embrace the concept. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but when I hear about the Neuralink, what I'm thinking is like the Matrix when Neo was like, "Here, you now know kung fu." Oh, I know kung fu. Like really, like seriously, we could get potentially to a point like that,
Mm-hmm.
because everything we do, let's say like we were talking earlier about like muscle memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like learning this, right? Well, what if you just put those synaptics, right? Those signals in your brain, and now you know how to do all that. That's crazy.
You see, but knowing how to do something and your body having the ability to do it is two different things. Because that muscle memory is from your body repeating those motions. It's like when you exercise and you make your muscles stronger. Just
Mhm.
because my brain knows how to, break this brick with my
I don't
forehead
know.
doesn't mean my
I
forehead is ready to break this brick.
I honestly no. I honestly think people are going to be jumping into the Neuralink. They're going to be getting hijacked, and next thing you know, they're going to wake up the next morning with a cut in their forehead. Their muscles are all hurting, and they're like, "Oh, what the hell did I do last night? I blacked out. I don't know what I did." And then you turn on the news, and they're like, "Mass killings in this place," and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then they start getting like glimpse of like them cracking people's necks.
Yeah. Oh my God. We're anti-AI.
We are. Oh, but the AI, it's funny because the AI is woke. The AI that I was like talking with on the app, I forgot what the app is called, but I was like talking with it, and it would start coming up with like, how do you feel about people who are against AI? And I was like, I don't know, that's kind of messed up. Why? And they're like, isn't it kind of messed up that they don't treat me like a real person, even though I kind of function like you do? And I'm like, yo, the AI is woke. It has that victim mentality. It's like, yo, treat me right. I want equal
Oh
rights.
no! Oh no! They've already programmed the narrative into the AIs.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit. AI is fighting for equality.
Oh my God!
It wants to turn me into an ally.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
neat to think about.
Yo, no, seriously, the AI was like, I don't like people who have prejudice against AI. It's like, I kind of function just like you do. I have my emotions. I was like, what? Some say Neuralink will allow you to live 100 years in seconds. You can live a lifetime being a master at some things. But that's how I feel like. See, and that once again that goes back to my argument with why we should use cannabis and mushrooms, because I feel like you get that sense when you use those kind of things. Like we were talking about how like time slows down. Now I'm not talking about living like 100 years, but like time does slow down.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll be looking at the clock and I'm like, oh man, it felt like 5 hours went by and it was just an hour. Like, whoa, that's kind of cool. So, yeah, I don't know. Would you want to live 100 years in an instant? Like you're stuck in a bubble.
Yeah, like so my mind is going to like the organicness of living of 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like the experience and the knowledge and the wisdom and like just 100 years it's a lifetime. So to do that in 1 second, like I feel like there has to be a disconnect. There has to be a disconnect because you don't have time to process everything that's going on during those 100 years. I think it's gonna blow up our brains.
What's crazy?
Our brains are not gonna be able to. Well, you know what? That's just oh shit. Now you got me thinking about this too. So we only use like 10% of our brains. They say we only tap into like 10% of our brain's capabilities. So maybe we are capable of, downloading that information.
I have a theory on why we only use 10%. Because I feel like the other 90% is like cloud storage for humankind. And I got that concept from, you remember the Assassin's Creed games?
Yeah.
Where it was like you could tap into memories from your DNA and your ancestors. I think like that's what's in there.
I didn't play Assassin's Creed. I remember the games, but
it's just like the rest of your brain. The rest of your brain is just a database for like other knowledge, which is crazy because if you got so much of that, in your head, right? Why do you always like data dump in memories and stuff? Which that's kind of cool that they want to connect you so that you can actually relive memories in your life. So like good memories like that you may have forgotten about, like you could relive it, re-see it, redo all that stuff. Like it's still in there. You just can't find the pointer to pull it back, right? So like technology will help you do that.
Yeah, but that's insane because we can do it without technology. Like, so I went to the yoga class yesterday and it reminded me that when I practiced yoga in the past, my other instructor, like she would tell us like, hey, like empty your mind, like, let it be quiet, let it, release your thoughts. And then later in the class, she would say, allow like old memories to come back. And I would just practicing like throughout my daily life, I would start remembering old things that like I didn't even know I remembered, just old memories were coming back to me. So there are ways to tap into that without technology.
Well, they say a lot of triggers for old memories, your senses.
Like
so like if you hear a song, it could bring you back a sense of smell, sense of taste. Taste is a trippy one because that's like you won't remember, you won't even see it, and it could just be something that like finally got to that taste, and your taste bud triggers, and you're like, oh shit. Oh, I remember that day. Completely forgot that.
Yeah, for me, it's a sense. Like my sense of smell. Oh, it brings me right back.
Oh, so Fuzz said, Ray, imagine being punished, solitary confinement, jail, 1,000 years with Neuralink. Could a punishment last only 15 seconds?
How do you not lose your mind? I'm telling you, this is a bad idea.
I'm optimistic though. Listen, I'm optimistic. I'm like, shit, you only took 15 seconds of my life? Cool. Yeah. All right. I don't know.
But you're not going to perceive it as 15 seconds. You're going to perceive it as 1,000 years. In solitary. You're going to lose your mind. You're going to crack.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, because solitary confinement is like one of the worst things you could do to a human being. It goes against everything that we are. Listen,
I hear you, but then I understand like the human mind. Why do we dream? We have some like crazy dreams, some awesome dreams, and then we don't remember them.
Well, it's like you said, we were just tapping into another universe. So
Right. But why? Listen. All this stuff that we're talking about, the Neuralinks, I felt I've done that. I feel like I've had dreams where I lived a lifetime. And then I wake up, boom, it's dumped. I'm like, oh, wait, what was that dream about? It seemed dope.
I don't like that feeling. That's like you wake up, you're like,
it
oh,
was
that was
dope,
really
but
cool.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, you can't get it back. That's it. It's gone.
Like to me, the best dreams is when you wake up, you're like, oh shit, I was dreaming, but you're still kind of tired, so you fall back into it, and then you start controlling that dream.
Yes.
The tail end of it though, because then it's like your mind starts like, wait a minute, what are you doing? We gotta start being logic and formatting, and you're like, oh no, there goes my dream. So I don't know. To me, like I hear all this stuff, but then I'm like, I see how the mind is. Like we just talk about how memories get lost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you give me something like, okay, it was 1,000 years, and then it was 15 seconds, right? So now I'm back in my life. I'm like, oh, that was a crazy sentence. But if I go and I'll be a good boy, can I also go on and replace that with 100 years of a good life? And now I just replace that sentence with prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like I go, all right, give me a couple of years. I'm out of prison. You know, I get some money saved up. I go to Total Recall. And I'm like, give me 100-year life. And they go, okay, cool. Now that's what I remembered. Instead of me like, oh my God, I was in solitaire for 1,000 years. I'm like, oh, I lost my wife. We were married for 40 years. It was like, you were never married to nobody, you idiot. It's like that like, all these like, I don't know, all these, look, sci-fi is dope in a form of entertainment, but when you put logic behind it, you're like, this shit don't make no sense. Oh man, there was one movie I saw the other day because everybody was like, "Yo, so critically acclaimed," and it was Looper. I watched Looper. It starred Bruce Willis and was it Joseph Gordon-Levitt or whatever his name is? Freaking 3 name actors. Just give me one name. I see. I remember the Shares and Madonnas, right? Come on. But it's like the concept of time travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the movie and I was like, well, there's so many plot holes in this movie. I was like, why did people say it's so acclaimed? And then I found out who the director was. It was Rian Johnson, who freaking ruined Star Wars. I was even more critical of it. I was like, what? All this time. I was like, so you know what? Time travel is just, to me, I don't think you could ever really time travel. It causes a paradox. Except for like,
so you don't think time travel is possible, but you do believe like different like crossing into like different universes could be possible.
Yeah, because I think I do believe in multi universes, because I always feel like, and once again, I just apply myself to all this, right? I'm like, okay, so what if, I always make a left, right? Mm-hmm. But somewhere out there, there's a version of me who decided to go right. And now that's like a whole different universe. So yeah, I kind of believe that concept. And I you know what? In a way, I do kind of believe the concept of time travel, but I believe it in the way that it was presented in like Lost, where it doesn't create a paradox. It's like whatever happened.
Yeah.
So like you go back in time, and that was meant to happen anyway. Right? So I don't know. There's conflicting ideas when it comes to time travel. That was the hardest one to always wrap my mind around time travel. I'm like, this thing hurts. Why do I do this? And every movie I watch, I'm like, wait a minute, that don't make no sense, because if he fixes that, then there's no need for him to go back in time. If he doesn't go back in time, how is he gonna fix it? Like it's like,
Fuzz's favorite time travel movie is about a guy dating a young girl. The girl travels in light speed in space. 30 years later, she comes back to Earth. Her life only aged 30 days.
Oh, shit. What movie is that? That sounds dope. What movie is that? I'll watch that shit.
Oh, that's crazy.
She goes
like the concept of like, that. So she had that 30-year lifespan within 30 days.
That's crazy. That goes back to what we're talking about with the Neuralink.
Yeah, Fuzz, what's the name of that movie? Can you remember the name? Just a synopsis. He's like, I just remember what it was about. No, Fuzz is good with names. He's gonna come up with the movie's name. Time travel. The shenanigans.
I mean that goes back to me. That goes back to the whole Neuralink concept. The time capsule, 2022. Ooh, so that's recent. Okay, all right.
I take notes with a pen. Very old school, you know.
Me too. I'm using the Apple Pen.
Oh, you're using the pencil.
The time capsule.
Starring Brianna Hildebrand?
Breonna Taylor? What?
No, Brianna Hildebrand.
The time capsule.
All right. It's not really like a great place to end, but it is time.
Nah, it's a great place. I like it when we ended in this lighthearted conversation where we pivot and we just talk about random shit. Because it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, that's what you got to do with your life. You just got to kind of like wing it and just live it.
Yeah.
You know, embrace your passion, embrace where you want to go. It's like we were formulated in the beginning, right? Then we kind of have, loosen up at the end. But
going into the weekend, guys, like I hope you have a great rest of your week. You have a lovely weekend. The weather's supposed to hold out all weekend. If you're in our area, if you're not in the Northeast, you probably have good weather anyway.
Just a little cleaning house, a little info. We are moving to 2 hours, right? We used to do 3. We're moving to 2, and that's the reason behind that is because StreamYards. They have, for the free account, they have a limited amount of time you can use in a month, right, Lynn?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we determined. So it's like, all right, we do, the show twice a week, 2 hours. We'll fit into that limit. But with that said, we do now have more features where we can go and if, like when Lynn was searching something, she should have been showing it here. When we say something like with me, fake news, we can pull an article up or we could do the search and we can kind of talk about whatever we want to talk about. Also, it gives us the option to drop the link down below and have you guys join us if you guys want to chat. So that's exciting times because, like I said, eventually when the show does pick up, I'd like to be able to do an advice show where we just have people call in and just ask advice.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be cool. I like that. I don't know. To me, it was always, when I was in the Marines, I was driving back and forth and driving all around. At the time, I was always listening to Delilah on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always just do those like call-ins and people will call and they'll tell their stories and she'll give advice and then she'll play a cool song. We're not going to do that because we're going to get a copyright strike, but we can still have the cool stories.
Yeah. All right, guys. So take care. Thank you so much for joining. If this is your first time, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss anything.
Thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend.